Hi, it's O.T. Carlson here. Continuing the reviews for the Star Wars movies on 4K, today we arrive at the end of the original trilogy, and we're looking at, from 1983, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Great artwork there with all of our heroes together. Here's the spine, back cover. There is a digital code for the film as well as an ad for the Movies Anywhere service. We get 3 discs in this package. Of course, we get the film in 4K Ultra High Def. The disc art, of course, featuring Han Solo being taken prisoner by the Ewoks. We get a Blu-ray disc of the film, that featuring R2 and 3PO walking to Jabba's palace. And then a bonus disc there with the art featuring artwork being made of Jabba's palace. Experience the triumph of the Force. The Empire prepares to crush the rebellion with a more powerful Death Star. The Rebel fleet counters with a massive attack on the space station. Luke Skywalker confronts Darth Vader in a final climatic duel seen as never before in 4K Ultra High Def. Return of the Jedi, of course, was the film that ended the classic Star Wars trilogy. We wouldn't get another new Star Wars film in theaters until 1999 with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which was the first of the prequel trilogy. I do have to say, Return of the Jedi probably is the most uneven of the original trilogy, but it is still a pretty solid film for what it is. Of course, all of our central cast come back and reprise their roles. This time around, the opening of the film revolves around a plot at the palace of evil gangster Jabba the Hutt to rescue Han Solo from his clutches, with the team hatching a scheme that, of course, everything goes horribly wrong and they have to get their way out of the situation, which is pretty much par for the course for these characters, as is summed up with some of the dialogue in the film. This opening sequence is certainly the most fun part of the film, and of course, who doesn't love Princess Leia in a metal bikini? Of course, after that, we get back to the main conflict in the galaxy. This time around, the Empire is building a new Death Star, which is going to be even more powerful than the old one, but it hasn't been completed yet, and the Rebellion has discovered plans so that they can launch an attack before it's operational, and hopefully bring an end to this conflict once and for all. But things become even more complicated because Darth Vader's master, Emperor Palpatine, is at the Death Star, and the Rebellion sees this as a potential opportunity to once again put an end to the war by killing off the man who's caused so much war and strife in the galaxy since he And as far as exotic locales go, of course, we get to see the forest moon of Endor, and we're introduced to the Ewoks, who admittedly are maybe a bit annoying and cutesy for some. I've heard a lot of people criticize this movie, claiming that it was a bit toned down from the other films. It's certainly not as dark as Empire, but there is still plenty to go around here that is quite impactful when it has to be. I mean, the Ewoks are even presented as something of a race of hunters who try to capture our heroes when they're first introduced. And I mean, there is a character in this film that actually dies by strangulation. I won't go into details, but anyone who claims this film is too lighthearted, I don't think has sat down and watched every single scene. And of course, you have the final conflict between Vader and the Emperor going against Luke Skywalker, and of course, how that fight ends up and what the ultimate conclusion is. Again, I won't spoil that here, but it is a pretty satisfactory conclusion. And once again, we have a great musical score from John Williams, one of the all-time great film score composers. The movie looks and sounds absolutely fantastic from start to finish. The final product is a pretty solid movie. Not my personal favorite Star Wars movie, but a good one nonetheless. Sadly, like I mentioned in my previous reviews, they did use a lot of noise reduction and processing on these 4K discs, so they don't really look all that great. There is HDR, which does get a chance to shine in a few scenes, and there are a few shots that have a pretty decent, staggering amount of detail, though sadly those are the exception and not the rule. I'd love to get versions of these movies that are the original theatrical cuts and have more of a filmic, natural-looking sheen to them. Unfortunately, that's probably never going to happen, but again, I guess all we can do is hope there. And like I mentioned in my previous reviews, these feature all of the changes that have been made to the movies over the years. They're not the original theatrical cuts. In the case of Return of the Jedi, this movie probably had the most changes from prior films. For example, we have a CG musical number in Jabba's palace, which replaces one from the original film that was done with puppets. Honestly, neither performance is really great, so I could take or leave that one. There's some additions to the Sarlacc pit monster, so it looks a little more menacing. They've made it so that the Ewoks can blink now, and there's also some celebratory scenes that are added to the ending of the film, and a modification made to one of the final scenes of the film that I won't discuss here for spoilers' sake that apparently upset a lot of people back in the day. Now, as far as bonus features go, once again, we do get a bonus disc that has a ton of additional features on it, including some rare old deleted scenes, and then some stuff with cast and crew, some old trailers and commercials. Interestingly, there's some trailers that actually use the original title, Revenge of the Jedi. And if you look at some of the trailers during the battle on Tatooine to rescue Han Solo, Luke actually has a blue lightsaber, which was changed to green for the final film. And that was done because supposedly they didn't want Luke having a blue lightsaber against the blue sky. They didn't think it would look very good. But yeah, another little interesting tidbit there. So the movie's great, and there's a lot of bonus features here, but sadly the transfer's not all that good because, again, lots of noise reduction and processing. It is worth owning just for the sake of owning the film, but again, I am hoping we get an unaltered version of this trilogy with more natural filmic looking transfers eventually. Still, I do recommend this package if you can get it for a fair price. How about you? Where would you rank Return of the Jedi when it comes to the Star Wars saga? Did you purchase this 4K release of the film, or are you just opting for watching the movies on Disney Plus instead? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, I'm going to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you listen to like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.